Now, Eskom presented a new plan to change its electricity tariff structure, which could see big changes for both businesses and households. At a public hearing of the National Energy Regulator of South Africa, the power utilities pricing specialist Shirley Salvaldi stressed that Eskom will not make more money from the tariffs than permitted by the regulator. For more on the story, I am now joined by Shirley. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the issue. We are proposing to make changes to the structure. This is not dealing with a price increase. That is a separate process. And the reasons why we're making changes to these structures is because over time, we've applied average increases, and everybody knows that Eskom is made up of a generation which is energy related, network businesses, our transmission and distribution businesses, and our retail part of the business. And all we're trying to do is make sure that our tariffs reflect energy separately from network costs. Somebody actually said to me, you really, all you're trying to do is compare apples with apples. And yes, that's exactly what we're trying to do. So energy charges reflect energy costs. And because over the years, we've applied average increases, there's been the balance of all these charges has not been correct. So we've updated our tariffs based on a cost of supply study, which is what NERSA requires us to do. They are sitting now with our submission after their consultation process is run, and they will then make a decision. And we are hoping by the end of February to have a decision on what NERSA is proposing.
Can you just further explain this to us, for our viewers, the change in the tariff structure that's called time of use, that's tariff structure, as well as that blockchain structure that sort of currently means that if you spend more electricity, you're going to end up paying more electricity?
So our time of use tariffs, the majority of our larger customers are on time of use tariffs. Our smaller customers, less so. So a time of use tariff really charges you differently for different times of the day and in the different seasons. And what we are proposing to do there is to slightly reduce the winter rates and an equal increase in the summer rates. So the sum of all the changes that we're making will equal the same revenue as our energy costs that have been approved by NERSA. We only work with NERSA approved values. We don't add extra costs to this. So the time of use tariffs, that slight reduction in the winter and the slight increase in summer. And then also we are proposing to reduce the number of peak hours in the morning. Currently, those are 3 hours. And in the evening, currently it's 2 hours. And we're proposing to move from to go to 2 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the evening, because the evening peak is actually where we're having our biggest challenges. And this is a pricing signal that customers, if they respond to this, they can actually save. On the inclining block rate tariff, this is a tariff that, as you stated, the more you use, the more expensive it is. And Eskom is saying this tariff is actually not a cost-effective structure, and we actually want to move to our sort of medium to higher usage customers. We want to remove the inclining block rate tariff and just have a tariff that has network costs, has retail charges, network charges, retail charges, and energy charges, but not using an inclining block. For our lower consumption customers, we have a simple inclining block. It's just got 2 blocks. It doesn't have a fixed charge. We have also proposed to NERSA that we would like to get rid of that as well and go back to what we had in the past, to a single energy rate. It will be up to NERSA, though, to decide if they will approve that as our proposal.
So all of these measures that you are proposing seem to benefit the consumers. How does Eskom benefit from this as well? Do you think that people would be using electricity more responsibly in light of these changes?
Yes, that's exactly what we're hoping. We are hoping that the right signals are starting to get sent, so that if you look at the inclining block rate tariff at the moment, that second block contains network costs, it contains retail costs, it's all bundled into an energy rate. And we're saying it needs to be split out so people understand exactly what they're paying for networks and what they're paying for energy.
Mhm.
And we are also looking at introducing a time of use tariff for residential customers. This tariff, if you've got PV on your roof and you export onto the grid, you'll be able to get a credit for that energy that you've exported. And that's also with NERSA at the moment. So customers that respond to these signals can save. And we are linking that response to a cost reduction as well, because if you put fixed costs into energy charges and people reduce their consumption, this becomes part of Eskom's application in the next year, because we've lost revenue, and that loss of revenue doesn't go away. The costs don't go away. The line still passes your house. There's still a transformer supplying you, even though you might only use electricity for 2 or 3 hours in the day. So that's really, it's to provide signals that provide better usage of the network, because the tariffs aren't modernized. They don't reflect the current energy environment.
Well, thank you for sharing those insights with us. That was Shirley Salvaldi, who is the Eskom pricing specialist.